Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're well. Look here. This is what we're leaving behind. Cold weather, desolation, depression, a lack of sunlight, an increase in cold weather. This is accurate, right? What they're showing?
No.
In the Northern Hemisphere, we are leaving this behind. We're going to spring. It's going to be green. It's going to heat up. The flowers are going to come back. The bees, the birds. The good stuff, be outside, night.
Grass. We're calling it grass now.
And today I'm sharing with you guys my 10 designer fragrance picks for spring of 2025. So the 10 fragrances that I'm looking forward to wearing the most this year. All of them will be linked in the description below, so feel free to check them out down there. We're gonna begin with number 10 from Montblanc. It is Explorer. Just regular old basic Explorer. And the reasons here are many, but one of the biggest ones is just my wife really likes it a lot. Doesn't hurt. But outside of that, it does smell similar to Creed's Aventus, which actually is why she likes it. And Creed Aventus is the type of fragrance you can wear anywhere, anytime. So is this. Now it's gonna be a little bit more of a fresh designer take on that scent profile. You know, it doesn't have so much of that like smoky aspect going on. It's a little bit more of a fresh, spicy, citrusy open with a nice, clean, woodsy dry down. In terms of the actual note breakdown, this one has bergamot, pink pepper, vetiver leather, ambroxan, and Akigala wood, among other notes. It doesn't cost too much from discounters, which is also a nice positive. And this is one that, yes, I'm planning on wearing this spring, but realistically, you can wear anytime you want. And I know you may think, well, surely with all the stuff you have, I mean, you haven't worn Explorer that much ever since you got it in. But in actuality, I'm about halfway done with my bottle. See? It's just one of those fragrances that is so easy to wear that you end up not even thinking about it. You grab it, you spray it, and you go, and before you know it, like me, you've used up half your bottle. So Explorer, even though it's been out for a minute, even though, yes, it's kind of a retread of Aventus, the stuff works, it's very easy to wear, it pulls compliments, it's a confidence booster, and it's one that I do plan on wearing. And I would actually like to see Montblanc come out with some more Explorer stuff that hits a little bit harder. Who knows, maybe later this year we get some Explorer action going on, but you know, this first one hit and it's become very popular for the reasons I mentioned. But after that, you know, Ultra Blue, I mean, if you want like just a run-of-the-mill kind of freshy, out of the shower freshy, you can pick it up for really cheap, but is it exciting? Not really. And then Platinum, a lot of people also not really hyped about that. So I hope that whenever they do come out with a new Explorer, they come correct with the next one. Number 9, I'm gonna go with Bad Boy Cobalt, which is a fragrance that has grown on me more and more ever since it first came out. That the more you wear it, the more you enjoy it, and then you end up wearing it more and more. In terms of the note breakdown, Bad Boy Cobalt has plum, lavender, pink pepper, vetiver, cedar, and truffle, which is an interesting note that you don't see used very often. For good reason. I can't imagine there's a huge number of people out there who are just dying to smell like a truffle, unless you are wanting to attract a truffle pig, and then I guess it could work out.
Looks like fun.
But it doesn't truly smell like truffle, it's just like this kind of light, earthy undertone that it has as it dries down. And this one is gonna be one more so for like, now, kind of beginning of spring when it's still kind of cold outside or cool outside when it hasn't fully heated up all the way. Because I've got some fresher ones that are gonna be for, you know, as we head in towards summer. This one is gonna be more that transitional period. Because for me, this is like spring and fall. You know, you'd kind of use it in either one. And frankly, you could use Cobalt year round if you wanted to, just maybe not as heavy during the summer months. But it's got this really appealing sweetness melding with fresher aspects off the top, a little bit aromatic as well. And it's another big compliment puller that's just very easy to wear. And the more I have worn this, as I said, the more I like it. And so I'm sure I'm gonna find myself reaching for that one as we go through spring. And some of you noticed, I've changed the fragrances back there, way back there. Look, they're spring fragrances, they're green. Let's go with this one next, number 8. Polo 67 from Ralph Lauren. This one is pretty cheap at full retail if you're comparing it apples to apples against other brands at full retail. And as it becomes available more regularly at discounters, because this is one that's kind of been off and on sold out at discounters ever since it came out, but Once it becomes more readily available there, I would expect this to be, you know, 50 bucks maybe slightly more, but give it a little time and it's gonna be that pretty much all the time. Note-wise, you've got pineapple off the top, a little bit of citrus, juniper, sage, vetiver, and patchouli. And this is another one of those ones that I just use as a grab-and-go type scent. I got a lot of use out of this last year when it first came out, and I still like it today. Really fresh, bright, not overly sweet. I mean, even though you have pineapple and citrus in there, you're not getting hit with like a big bunch of bubble gum, you know, that kind of like synthetic headache-inducing, cloying sweetness. This keeps things a little bit more grounded, so you have enough sweetness and freshness there that it grabs attention, that it's very easy to use. It's just not overdosed. Another one that's got some aromatics in there, a little bit of woods as it dries down, so it's got like a slightly classy touch to it as well. And a lot of people would probably think of this as more like a summertime fragrance if you're gonna, you know, just lump it into one season. But this is one that, especially as it starts to heat up toward the end of spring, I'll reach for this. This is one that I have a little bit of a propensity to just lay on my desk and just keep it right there. And then if I'm gonna go somewhere, I just grab it and go. Maybe not one that I would reach for as much if I'm like actually sitting there, taking my time, thinking about, okay, you know, where am I going today? What am I gonna be doing? You know, and just kind of like looking through all my options. I might go for something else, but in those situations where I'm just grab and go, that stuff. That's one of my tops. Now, as I said, with this fragrance, you're gonna find it for a lot less at discounters when it's available. Same goes for all of these here today. Some of them are newer releases, so some of these you may not be able to find at discounters as of when this video is coming out. If you're watching this in the future, they probably are available, unless you're way in the future and maybe they got discontinued. I don't know, I can't tell. I don't know what's gonna happen with these. But yeah, discounters, you're gonna be able to get most all these at a much nicer price than at full retail. And you know where I'm going with this. And if you do shop at discounters, here are some codes you can use to save yourself some money. Don't look over here, this is the next fragrance. Can you see it? I don't know. But be aware with these codes, the JOMASHOP ones, they only work within the JOMASHOP app. They change every couple months or so. And then all the other codes that you see there for the perfume box, Spragflex, etc., you can use those just on the website like normal. A lot of those are discounters. Some others are ones that specialize in niche fragrances or clone fragrances. But you can find pretty much everything you want using those stores. Number 7, Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense. So I had to get myself an iris fragrance in here. I just had to do it, and I feel like this is one of the better choices for springtime. There's some other ones out there that you could go with for sure, but this one is just really well done. So along with that iris, there's also tonka in here, a little bit of cypress, cedar, cardamom, even basil, and bergamot as well. And it has some faint similarities to Dior Homme Eau, which was also a really, really good fragrance for spring, which has been discontinued for a while. Actually, another one of my favorite spring fragrances, which is discontinued, is always back there. It's Gucci Pour Homme 2. It is right next to the 2 Gucci envies that are stacked on top of each other. Gucci Pour Homme 2, loved that one. L'Homme Ultime from Yves Saint Laurent, loved that one. L'Homme Ideal Cologne from Guerlain, loved that one. Basically, what I'm telling you is if I like a fragrance for spring specifically, it's the touch of death. So everything I show you here today, I'm sorry, they will all be discontinued. I'm just playing, sort of. A lot of those that I love did get discontinued. So with this one, it's very high-end, classy, but also easy to wear. So you get that creamy iris, comes across very sexy, bit sweet. Then you also have some green aspects in there, some woods underneath. A lot of the time when we're talking that more creamy type of iris, it's not as easy to wear during spring and summer. Almost all of those end up falling more like fall and winter time. But this one you can pull off pretty much all spring. Number 6, I'm gonna go with Y Eau de Toilette from Yves Saint Laurent. And there were some other fragrances that I was thinking about, you know, putting into this list that it didn't quite make the cut. And a couple of those actually smelled similarly to Y Eau de Toilette. And it became one of those deals where it was like, well, I mean, you know, if I'm thinking about putting these fragrances in and they smell pretty similar to Y, you know, it's just Y, right? That's the one to go with. And I do really enjoy Y Eau de Toilette, the new version. I feel like with the reformulation, they actually improved it a little bit. Doesn't happen that often, but happened here. It's got bergamot, ginger, lavender, clary sage, also a little bit of ambergris, vanilla, and cedar as well. Very fresh, clean, sweet, has kind of a clean laundry aesthetic to it to an extent, but much more bright, zingy, and like I said, a little bit sweet. It gets overlooked a lot of times by Y Eau de Parfum, Y Le Parfum. Honestly, Actually, all the Ys, just about. This one gets overlooked for, but this stuff crushes during spring. It is so easy to wear. It's a great office fragrance, really nice, versatile scent, honestly, that you could wear just about whenever you want. And I do really like the Y DNA. Like this one, Y Eau de Parfum, Y Le Parfum, all the big ones in the line pretty much. I like all of them. There are only a couple that, you know, I'm not really in love with, but kind of started here. Technically not, because this is a reformulation, but it started with Y Eau de Toilette, and I still really, really like wearing it. It's another one that's grown on me over time. Like when Y EDT first hit, I wasn't enamored with it, didn't think it was awful or anything. And for like the 17th time, this is the improved reformulation version, but still, when it very first hit, I was like, you know, it's okay, it's whatever. But then as I wore it through, I think that spring, and kind of wore it more as time went on, I was like, this stuff just works for me. Number 5 is actually another YSL. It is Myself. So this one has bergamot, orange blossom, amber fix, and patchouli. Really, really, really simple, no breakdown. And yeah, Myself is everywhere at this point. So if you're looking for something that is a little more off the beaten path, it's not this. But to be fair, the reason that this is everywhere is because it works everywhere. Like I said, it's pretty simple. You know, it's orange blossom forward, a white floral scent at the end of the day. Another one that's just very clean, very fresh, easy to wear, cozy, a huge compliment puller. I'm telling you guys, like during the day in spring, summer, and early fall, Myself is just about as good as you're gonna get as far as a scent that everybody is gonna think smells good. It is not hyper masculine at all. This is almost like, not the same, doesn't smell the same as CK1 or the original Acqua Di Gio, but it's almost doing the same kind of deal, where it's like, look, we're gonna give you a fragrance that mostly men are going to wear, but it's gonna be a little more unisex leaning. You know, it's gonna be just very white floral forward, gonna be very clean, extremely easy going, and you know, it is what it is. Take it or leave it. So like I said, it does not smell like Acqua Di Gio, it does not smell like CK1, but when those came out, similar kind of idea, right? Unisex, clean fragrance with white florals that everybody likes. That's what this is. We're in the top 4, which is not quite as exciting as the top 3, but it's so close. It's just one away. Number 4, I'm gonna go Coral Fantasy from Valentino. So yeah, Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. I'm sad they just didn't keep making the name longer and longer until it got to the point that I couldn't even fit the name of the fragrance as the title of my YouTube video when I talk about whatever their new release is. Because they were getting close, you know? New Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. Intense, extrait. Now we're talking. Yeah, Coral Fantasy, this stuff, maybe not like a direct spring fragrance necessarily. It's almost a year-round fragrance. And this is gonna be one that's more so for me, kind of early to mid-spring, and also would be like mid to late fall. In terms of notes, it has apple, cardamom, lavender, tobacco, geranium, and patchouli. So this is gonna be a sweet fragrance, pretty much from the opening into the dry down. And it's another one that people love. I love it. Like, just, I've said this before, but when you're wearing a fragrance, if you're maybe not completely sold on it, okay, and you wear the fragrance and everybody starts talking about how good your fragrance smells and it's just like constant, it's a pretty easy way for that fragrance to get bumped up a number of notches in your own mind. Because you might be thinking to yourself, it's not that good. I mean, it's okay. It's like a 7. It's a 7. I'm not buying into the hype, brother. It is a 7. All these other clowns, these sheep, morons. And then you'll have people come up, what are you wearing? It smells fantastic. And you're like, it's all right. It's okay. And then after the second, third, fourth, fifth time, you're like, okay. Maybe it's a little better than a 7. I don't know. I've done it myself. I've seen other people do it that I know. So it's not something to be ashamed of, it happens. And that's kind of Coral Fantasy for me. Man, this stuff just really, 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 really good. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense. I like that one a whole heck of a lot too. But if we're talking spring, I'm leaning a little bit more toward this one, at least right this minute. So that was 4. Now we're in the top 3. Number 3, Guilty Love Edition. The new Love Edition, which has this nice pistachio colored bottle, kind of a matte finish. I like, it looks good. And this is another one with a very dumbed down note breakdown. Got to make sure that those couple brain cells up here can keep up with these note breakdowns, because those two brain cells are just rubbing together. You know, it's like they're trying to start a fire in there. So they just give us the 3 notes. That way it's like, okay, I think I can follow along with this one. Let's try it together. Let's see if we can make it through this, okay? We got juniper, okay, orange blossom, and ambrofix. Lost me.
Whoops, there it goes. Yep, my brain stopped.
I knew the first two, but then ambrofix, that's not even a word. So this guy right here, when it was first announced, obviously myself, a lot of other people were kind of like, well, it's probably gonna be myself, similar to myself anyway. Because look at those 2 note breakdowns, right? They both have ambrofix, they both have orange blossom. The difference is this one has juniper off the top, and this one has bergamot. Technically myself also has patchouli, but you know, if we keep it just very simplified, 2 of the 3 main notes were the same. And I would say that both of these, you would use like similar time frames. Obviously I have these both in the spring list, and they're both, you know, very clean fragrances that are white floral forward at the end of the day. But Guilty Love Edition has a little more heft to it, like a little more body to a little bit heavier. Myself comes across more fresh, a little more zingy, but still, both of these smell fantastic, big people-pleasing scents. And really the reason that Guilty Love Edition is a little bit farther up here is it's new. I haven't worn it very much. And so as we head into spring, I really want to get some more use out of this one, kind of see how it stacks up against some of these others that I've worn much more, which is why it's up here. But so far, the little bit that I have worn it, it's worked really well for me. Number 2, Paradise Garden. I do very much enjoy the Beau fragrances. It's another scent line, fragrance line that has done extremely well for me. And going back to kind of what I was poking fun at with Valentino over here, same kind of deal. For a lot of people out there, they find a fragrance or a line of fragrances, whether we're talking designers, indie, niche, clones, whatever, that just work well for them. Like you may have a friend and they wear a particular fragrance or a line of fragrances and they just absolutely crush with those fragrances. Like everyone loves them when they wear them, and then maybe you try it and you're like, I will also smell good, and it's just like a dumpster fire. It's like a dumpster fire with diaper juice dripping out of the bottom of the dumpster as it burns. Just don't work. Well, Beau, thankfully, is the former, not the latter for me. And if we're talking spring, then Paradise Garden, this is gonna be the one that I'm reaching for most often. So they do have the newest one, Flower Edition, that's come out, and that one is lighter than Paradise Garden, both in terms of performance and smell. That one is definitely more summer-centric to me. Paradise Garden has a little more heft to it, a little more punch, a little more projection, longevity. And so I can wear that one in early spring through late spring, and no matter what the weather is outside, it's gonna work. In terms of the note breakdown, it has kind of a green aquatic note accord, also mint, coconut, fig, ginger, sea salt, tonka, and sandalwood. So it is quite creamy and sweet, also has that kind of tropical flair to it. And I think spring you could also wear Beau Eau de Toilette. Beau Le Parfum, you know, as you head into later spring, for me, maybe gets a little bit too heavy, but that one could work too. But if I had to pick just one, it's this one. Your eyes do not deceive you. The bottle's moved around a little bit, shifted location slightly. Yeah, it's because as I was doing the final one, had a bit of an issue. So I'm here refilming it. But look, I got this same shirt. It's like totally seamless. So number 1 fragrance, spring 2025. What could it be? Well, a little Acqua Di Gio. Yeah, Acqua Di Gio Parfum for spring, because this one has that mix of freshness with a little bit more of a deep aspect as it dries down, which works really well during spring and fall. But really, Acqua Di Gio Parfum you can wear pretty much all year round if you wanted to. I do think it's one of the best ones in the entire lineup for evening use, maybe tied with Elixir depending on what you're going for, but I think Acqua Di Gio Parfum overall definitely is easier to wear than Elixir. It's going to be more versatile overall than Elixir, and I think a bigger people-pleasing fragrance in general than Acqua Di Gio Elixir as well. I do think Acqua Di Gio Elixir smells like a, you know, maybe a slightly more buttoned up, sweet Acqua Di Gio. It's got good quality to it. The opening I think smells really nice. Depends on how much you pay for that one though. Like I got it online for, I think it was like $109. That's a pretty good price. But you know, you pick it up for like $165 or $180 or something, It's not a very good price. And that one, talking about the elixir, as it heads through the mid, has a good amount of violet and leather, and it almost smells reminiscent of parts of like Aqua Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit Cologne mixed with Acqua Di Gio. It's definitely still more Acqua Di Gio. You just pick up a little bit of that kind of aspect in the scent profile, which for some people is gonna be a turn off. You know, that dose of violet is not gonna be for everybody. And Acqua Di Gio Parfum, like I said, just much easier to wear. And as it dries down, it has that really nice incensey pop, that olibanum in there that just smells really fantastic when it's a little bit cool outside, but you still want something fresher. So Acqua Di Gio Parfum is gonna be my #1 choice. Of course, I am a big fan of Acqua Di Gio in general. I mean, really the only one that's out right now that I just don't like at all is Acqua Di Gio Profondo Parfum. That one just, ugh. Not for me. I think I'm gonna do a video pretty soon where I rank all of the Acqua Di Gios, you know, including like old Profondo and new Profondo and old Eau de Toilette and new Eau de Toilette. Just rank them all from worst to best. This one would be right up toward the top of that list, and for now, it is at the top of this one too. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Let me know what you're looking forward to wearing this spring. Stay safe out there, guys. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.